Good morning. Welcome to the Inside the Product podcast. This is the second episode we've ever done. It's going to be about what we're working on, what's coming next, how everything's really kind of coming together. But this is, I guess, episode 2. We originally had the title as Temp, Perm, Why Not Both? And it's really talking about Rocket ATS. I'm joined today with Chris. He's our account director. I work really closely with Chris. And really, he's speaking to a lot of customers about ATS. I've obviously been working a lot on ATS as product. So it's really going to run through kind of what customers are saying and really making sure that people can hear about all the great things that are coming from Rocket in the next couple of months, really. Because we've got end of January earmarked for ATS.
It's not long, Michael.
It is not long at all. No, it's not long at all. So I guess we'll run through a couple of topics, really kind of getting into the features, what people are looking forward to from customers you're already talking to, Chris. Some of the kind of automations and things that we've got in place, bits of AI, and really how it's all coming together, and then what people will be able to do when they get their hands on it eventually. So I guess the first topic is why it matters to us. And I guess, Chris, really a lot of customers are obviously hearing bits and pieces around ATS. We're building it quietly in the background, but from your side, what are people most interested in?
I think we know what people are most interested in at the moment, Michael. AI is the hot topic of conversation, isn't
Absolutely.
it? And that's been something that's been sort of prevalent for the last 6 to 12 months, maybe a little bit longer. So it's at the forefront of everybody's minds at the moment. You know, there's a lot in the news. There's a lot, on social media, LinkedIn, all the sort of places that people are picking up information.
Yeah. And
I think that is the hot topic. So along with ATS, I think the real important thing in here is some of the AI functionality,
how we get that embedded
and
in.
how we get that in there to really maximise the sort of tech for clients and recruiters out there.
Nice. Okay. And obviously, you're talking to agencies every day about this, so it'll come up all of the time. But how would you kind of describe sort of where Rocket's been strongest so far, and why is this sort of the right time for us to, I guess, for lack of a better term, dip our toe in the water with Perm?
Yeah, I think, in all honesty, we've done temp historically for years since I've been with Rocket, and I think we're the best temp product in the market in my opinion, but I would say that, Michael. I wouldn't be very good if I didn't. But I think historically, the agencies did sort of temp or perm. There was sometimes a little bit of crossover in those, but I think now more than ever, the way the market is, the way the economy is, I think agencies, I think they need to look at every avenue. So those agencies that historically only did temp are actually looking into the perm market as well. And I think what people really want, and the one thing I've sort of realised in my time here at Mobile Rocket, is they want one system.
Yeah, absolutely.
That does everything. Going from one system into another, it's difficult for agencies. They'd like a one-stop shop where their consultants can just log in and access everything and do perm and temp. So nice. I think us to have both of those things would be a great asset. Yeah, definitely. So before we get into sort of all the features of the ATS, Michael, and things, how big of a change is this for our business, would you say?
I mean, we talk about it all the time, but it is a big change, right? Where you mentioned before, we're sort of temp, and we've done that for many, many years now. And perm is a big area for us, and it's really our first feature that kind of gets into that. Obviously, we've done bits around compliance, which is relevant to both temp and perm, and obviously the CRM sits kind of across both, but there was never this kind of gateway product. Like onboarding makes absolute sense to temp agencies because it's speed, it's volume.
Yeah, absolutely.
But for the perm side, we never really had that kind of gateway where it's something that gets people in on the perm side. Obviously, you can use it and manage it once they're going, but ATS absolutely kind of is that gap. It's the jobs, it's the people coming in, and then the management after that, right? So in terms of like Rocket's like ecosystem of all of its different products and how they all kind of fit together, this is another one that fits in right at the beginning, but also then ties those other things together to be really I guess, useful for perm agencies.
And there's definitely some crossover as well, isn't it, into the term, into the temp market, because, you know, temp, yes, you're doing shifts, you're sort of booking people, but you want to post those jobs out. You want people to apply for those jobs before you bring them into that side of things. So it's fitting into the bigger picture, isn't it, of what we're building as a whole at Mobile Rocket, I suppose, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And I guess it's that end-to-end process, like you mentioned before. It's really, we've always strived to, obviously we started with e-sign early doors, and then we've gradually built out other features which fill into that whole like recruitment process. And ultimately, it's always been about saving time and effort and freeing up recruiters, whether that was building e-sign or CRM or shift manager. And how you get away from using, I think you said it again before, about lots of systems, you're logging into one place, you're ditching the spreadsheets, all that admin in all those different places.
It's wasted time, isn't it?
Of course it is.
It's absolutely wasted time,
And when we kind of always approach this sort of problem, I guess, of how it fits into the bigger picture, is we always start with that, and you'll know because customers say it to you, about how easy it is to use Rocket. It is that clean
very
interface.
Intuitive. That's the sort of buzzword I tend to get from
absolutely.
From
and we start with that really clean, intuitive experience, then build on top of those problems we're trying to solve, and ultimately we want to get people using everything in one place.
We do.
In terms of like the wider, I guess, vision, it's around those automations. So we've got automations in various places, like references at the moment, but and like e-sign forms that are assigned after once completed, which is always really nice. So when we started with ATS, it was how do we bake those in from the ground level and use AI, which is the other thing you mentioned,
absolutely.
And really get to the point where eventually, not saying now, but we'll get to this 360 recruitment process where we'll either have all of the tech or we're integrated with the tech in various places, and then recruiters can literally log into one place and do everything.
And do everything through there, absolutely. So I suppose let's talk about what makes our ATS different. Mm-hmm. What can users do in our ATS system, Michael?
Yeah, so I guess it does the normal stuff, right? Job posting, connecting to job boards, applications, placements, and that's just going to be what any ATS really does.
Absolutely, yeah.
With us, we were really interested in making sure that you could see literally every job, every stage that someone was at in that job, and every placement all the way through in a really easy process, and integrating it in with all the Rocket's other features. So I guess, yes, things can be separate, but it's the tying it all together that really adds that value and speeds things up. So one of the things that really sets us apart in terms of really standing out and why our ATS is arguably better is that we're building this product for the first time for ourselves as well, with AI from the absolute ground up.
From the off.
Exactly. So from parsing CVs, we're going to be using AI for that, which is really interesting because we get to dig through all of the natural language, the things that people are describing in their CVs that they maybe don't have listed as skill, and how we're able to then pick that up, then matching and scoring. So all of those things can then be automated, and we're leaning on AI to do a lot of that as well.
And that's normally a very time-consuming job, isn't it, for recruiters? Picking through CVs, looking at CVs, pulling out the bits they need, and that's all going to be automated in the system.
It is, yeah. It's automating what we can, and I guess where we should, because obviously it's a bit of a delicate balance, right?
It is.
You want to make sure that you're automating enough, but recruiters still have an eye on who that person is, and are they the right fit? You
still need that human interaction, don't you? It's taking away, I suppose, the parts that you can take away with technology and make things easier is the key, isn't it? And leaving the recruiters more time to do those things, build those relationships with candidates, with clients, whilst not getting bogged down with the admin side of the job.
I mean, if we can free people up to spend more time doing that part, then it's a
win.
no-brainer.
It's a win for everyone, isn't it? Absolutely.
So I guess a nice follow-up to that, Chris, is so from someone who's logging in for the first time, one of your customers that you speak to a lot, and you're sort of getting them to turn ATS on, what's going to really stand out when they log in?
I think the thing that always stands out, and the feedback that I get with our platform, Michael, is and I touched on the word before, it's the intuitiveness of the system. When you log into some systems historically, and some of the ones that I've seen out in the market, they look very dated, and finding your way around those platforms can be quite sort of quite tricky without knowing where you're going. I think one of the biggest things that Mobile Rocket do with our platform is it's very easy to navigate around, to find. I always say to clients, you could almost start using our system without having any training on it, because it is very intuitive, and once you get into to using it, it's very simple and straightforward, and everything follows the the path that you would expect from a system and this sort of standard.
Nice. It's really good to hear that customers are sort of like, obviously you're talking to them and you're getting their feedback now, so you're kind of hearing that's the kind of thing that they're looking forward to. So I guess in terms of like the wow factor, I guess for ATS, again from your customers that you're talking to, what's going to make ATS a game changer for those that already have Rocket products and now they're going to add this to the...
I think some of the two key things really we touched on, and we'll not sort of go back down that one, but the AI functionality is massive. I'm hearing from everybody, we want AI, but actually when you get down into the crux of it, they're not actually sure what they want from AI. They just hear AI and that's what they want. But I think when you've got some actually tangible things in there around AI, sort of the CV parsing, the scoring and those sort of things, in the job board description and things, there's some really key elements that are total time consuming elements for recruiters. I think the other great thing that people will be interested in, and this comes from the temp side as well, is the job board integration. Posting jobs out and having to post them out onto multiple boards, onto your website as well. I think that'll be a big plus for a lot of our clients, in that they can just post the jobs into Rocket. We'll give them a link for their own website, and that will push out onto Indeed, onto CV Library. If they're using Logic, Melon or Broadbean, it's just a one post and off it goes, and you can track those applications. It just makes that initial process really, really easy to manage.
It always sounds really good hearing that back. I know we're talking about it all the time,
but
when you hear it listed like that, wow, that is going to make a big difference in their day-to-day. And in terms of like the feature that's getting the most excitement about, and when you're sort of showing people really, obviously it started with, I think we might have had sketches originally, then you had wireframes, now you had designs, now you're physically showing them through the product.
We've got a live system, a working system, absolutely.
That's very near. And what are they getting most excited about?
I think again, probably the couple of points that I touched on. They love the look of the AI. The CV parsing is a massive one for clients, in that they want CVs just to come in, and they don't want to be trawling through them. They just want that information pulled out, assigned to candidates around skills, job titles, so that when they do get a job and they want to search for a candidate, it's not going to necessarily mean they're going to have to post out onto job boards. They're going to be looking at their existing sort of candidate portfolio to to match to make those, and ultimately down the future, Michael, that will increase your revenue, because the less, if you can source your candidates from your existing pool, naturally you're going to spend less on pushing out onto job boards, and that is the dream, I suppose, isn't it? Because we know the job boards, certainly Indeed and things, are squeezing recruiters more and more. So if you can go in and get your existing candidates and find someone in there and save yourself money, that's a win.
Absolutely. I mean, it's like anything, right? You've already spent the time, the effort, the money.
Absolutely.
Getting those candidates into your talent pool. If you're not making the best use of them, then that was arguably money just out the door.
Just down the drain. Yeah. Absolutely.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, what do you think will make, from what you've seen, Michael? What do you think will make the sort of biggest difference to workloads?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's an sort of interesting thing, because it's the other side of the conversation. I guess we're sort of working and looking at lots of research and feedback, and you're speaking to the customers, so you're hearing it from face value now. But I guess from what we've been building quietly over the last 6 to 12 months, I guess. Is really sort of making the most of your talent pool, to add on to your comment there, really, before going out to job boards. It's a really key thing, and I think what we're doing in ATS really taps into that, and by suggesting matched candidates when you create a job before you then promote it is, again, you're going to be saving money because you already have those people. Being able to tweak, automations at various stages as you move people through that process, whether that's shortlisting, whether that's sort of scoring candidates and things, that's all going to just really change the recruiter's workload, because if it can do all of that heavy lifting for you, then
it's more time to do the things, the important things. Absolutely.
Yeah. So when you're spending more time and effort and money sort of getting candidates, we want to make that really work as hard as it absolutely can for you. And whether that's just serving the candidates back to you that you've already spent the time and effort getting, then that's a huge win, like you say. But like an example process that I think will really save a lot of time, and you kind of touched on it there, is if you imagine someone applying for a job who's not registered with your agency. So they're going to go through, they're going to apply to a job. You've got a process already set up, because ATS comes naturally with a load of automations already in place. Obviously, you can tweak all that, but imagine it is just out of the box. Someone applies. You've got a point in time where you're saying, or we're going to say, this is when you're going to pass a CV. Now, we're going to use AI for that. So not only is that going to be really, really quick, but it's going to sort of read the CV like a human would, but in fractions of that time. It's not just going to go, they've got some skills listed and assign those.
It's pull them out.
It's going to pull them out of the things that they're talking about in their CV. And it might be that there's a skill you have in your agency that they mention in like a hobby. That then the AI is able to look at that and go, okay, that skill belongs to that person because they've referenced it here. Now, the idea is that it can do all of that very, very quickly, matching you to the skills and job titles that you've already got in your agency, and then scoring a candidate. And there's automations in place where you can progress people through stages naturally. So you go from posting a job, you might not even need to post it outwards. You're just creating it. But also, if you do happen to do that, probably by the time you've gone away and made a cup of coffee and come back to your desk, you might find you've got people in a couple of stages down the road anyway. So whether that's internally from your job, from your sort of own candidate pool, or whether it's gone out and posted it.
So that's a massive win. That's a massive win. Absolutely.
Huge. Yeah. So I guess automations using the AI that we've put intelligently in places like we're talking about before. It's not just about that blanket approach. But yeah, I think it's how we can get people through that funnel quicker, ultimately not wasting money where it doesn't need to be wasted. And I hate to use that term of like without lifting a finger, but really that's what we're trying to do, but in the boring admin parts. So I guess digging into how agencies should use it, because we've covered that a decent amount there. What challenges do you think that recruiters are kind of facing, and how they're trying to manage permanent recruitment outside of Rocket today? What are they doing right now?
It's a difficult question when you're not in recruitment, but I can only sort of talk about the feedback that I hear from sort of clients. But some of the big sort of problems are the actual tracking of the applications when they come through. For our clients who aren't maybe using an ATS, it's going to be a big sort of a big win for them in that they can post their jobs out and track candidates as they come through. The job posting is a massive one, as I sort of touched on, having to sort of post your job out onto multiple boards, onto your own. A lot of recruiters that I'm sort of speaking with, their website isn't necessarily up to speed, and having your jobs on your website is, that should be a given. In my opinion, there should be a page on your website, and the way that we're going to do that, and I am correct in that, aren't I?
By default.
By default,
will
that we're
appear
going to
there
give them.
if you link that bit in.
And how will we do that, Michael, out of curiosity? So,
in terms of the job boards?
Yes.
Yeah, so the job boards are through connected apps, which you'll see if you're already using any of our existing integrations, like Xero or Outlook or something like that. We're going to allow you to connect with some individual job boards or multi-posters. So multi-posters are the likes of Broadbean, Logic Melon.
Broadbean,
and that's one where you're connected to that, but it's connected to a load of job
boards.
And
then it just pushes them out. So you push the job once into the system, and then it's just going out to multiple areas. But
it will always be created in Rocket, then distributed to whatever boards you're connected to, and then all your applications are coming back into that same place, which allows you to manage it. And again, it's that bird's eye view of everything in one place. I know you mentioned it before about people logging into a lot of different things, and if you've got like 10 different job board tabs open, that becomes really hard for you to manage. You might have the same person applying in different places. But we're going to do, if someone does apply to Indeed, and also maybe you have Logic Melon and it's come
CV
through
or wherever
library.
it is. Yeah,
we'll only sync the candidate just the once, so everything's all in one place.
So you're not getting any duplication and think we've had another application. You've got that, you can see quite clearly. And with regard to the sort of website, because we're gonna, how are we gonna give them? Because a lot of clients aren't putting their jobs on their website necessarily, because it can be a little bit of admin heavy to do that, and they post them out to Indeed and they think, oh, we don't need to put them onto the website. But for me, I think you should always have an up-to-date job list on your website, and we're going to make that really simple, aren't we, with that?
We are, absolutely. So like right out of the box, without doing anything, we'll automatically put it on a public page for you to advertise your jobs, whether you embed that into the app you've got with us, or whether you embed that into part of your web page or just literally link to it from your website. All your jobs are just on there as long as you've got them marked as live
automatically.
So they're just going on there themselves. Also, another really interesting thing is that we're automatically formatting them in a way that they can go on to Google jobs as well.
Okay,
so we're optimized for that, again, without you doing anything. So without you even posting it anywhere, it's going to go...
It's doing all that hard work in the background and pushing it out everywhere it needs. And very, very easy and swift, so we've talked a little bit about the job boards. I suppose the question around the other things is how does the ATS flow into the wider Rocket system, and how are the agencies that we've got, how they're going to expect to sort of use it?
Yeah, it's an interest. I guess it is an interesting one. But an ATS, I always say, is it's a funny product because it's not really a thing. Like if you look in Rocket, you'll find it in loads of different places. It's sort of like threaded in, and really that deeply embedded process. And it does kind of connect the dots in a lot of places. So you've got ATS, let's say you've got e-sign, and you've got the right to work checks, and you've got our integrations in places like that. It's going to link together all of those things. So when you've got someone registered at a point of your choosing, at a stage, let's say it's shortlist, you might automatically then say, right, we're going to assign this registration form, we're going to send them that right to work check. If they move to that stage, we're going to assign them this compliance type, so we can make sure they're compliant, knowing we've got those things in place as well. And then we're going to move them on automatically when we get those information.
They'll move on to the next stage as those candidates complete what's sort of requested of them.
Exactly. So in terms of how it fits in really nicely. Like a glove, I guess, for lack of a better word. Really, it's gonna pull all those features together. And for a perm agency or someone who's onboarding someone not through like the temp route where you're just onboarding them through forms and they've come from a job board, you're going to be able to push them through a really nice experience for the recruiter and for the candidate.
And in those stages, obviously, you can also customize those different job types with different stages in between, can't you? So you might have one job that only has 3 stages. You might have another job that has 5 or 6 stages. So you can, again, the customization, which has always been a big thing for us, hasn't it? Giving the sort of recruiters the ability to create their own processes, create their own information. You see it in our CRM. So that is always a key thing, because what one recruiter wants, the next recruiter wants it differently, don't they? We've seen that, since the beginning of time, haven't we?
That's right. I mean, we've worked with recruiters long enough now to know that it's all the same goal at the end, right?
It is.
But it's how you get there. Everyone has a slightly different process. It's very much similar, but it's like, we've worked this way for so many years, we can't change that bit. So what we're trying to do really with the setup, like you say, is really make it so that they can flex. If they suddenly have a client come along and go, well, actually, no, we need 4 rounds of interviews or something, you can have that now, and it's not going to change everything else you're doing for all the other jobs you're recruiting for as well. So flexibility
and customization, absolutely. So we know ATS is going to be huge for us. It gives us access to really a whole new market, the perm market, which we haven't really targeted historically since I've sort of been here. I suppose the question is, why now? Why now are we looking at the perm, do you think?
For one, yes, you're right. It is huge. We're obviously excited. Why now? I guess quietly, we've been working on this since probably 2020, 2021, when we've done sort of when we did e-sign and the form stuff. I looked back the other day and we've actually had about 6 versions of various scopings of this after all that time, and we've always kind of picked it up and then moved on to another temp product just because we sort of naturally fell into that process.
We're a temp. We've been historically temp, haven't we? And I think, you know, from my side and my sort of take on it, I think the temp, we've been adding to that because we've wanted to grow the temp system massively. But I think our temp platform is in a position now where we're happy-ish with it in many respects. There's always things to do. There's always things to do, but I think now, you know, we've got a fantastic temp system. It's probably now is the time to say, right, let's go and look at the perm market. Do you think is that the case?
I mean, it's always been on the cards. Like you say, the temp offering moved really, really quickly. It's got to a point now where, you know, we have a lot of customers that are happy with those features. We know there's things that we can always improve on, and we have a lot in the pipeline already, which is great. But yeah, it's a really strong position with the temp offering now. And we're working with, well, you more than anyone are working very, very closely with customers. And I hear a lot of feedback from you that, you know, that process, so we do temp, but we also do perm. Do you have anything for that? And now it kind of just felt the right time. The sort of stars kind of aligned in terms of where we got to with the features. And we had this thing sat on the back burner, and it was, you know, now's the time to do it.
Now's the time to do it. Yeah.
And I guess off the back of that, then what sort of opportunities does, you know, really this sort of perm offering open for us and for agencies that have never done any perm?
Yeah, it's a big question. And again, I'm only talking from sort of my experience and feedback. You know, having never been a recruiter, it's only sort of feedback that I've heard in my discussions with clients. But I think certainly the way the market is at the moment, where clients have historically only done temp, and they've sort of stayed away from perm. I think now they don't want to turn that business down. I think recruiters now are looking at it and thinking, well, I can make a perm placement as well. Why would I not want to do that? You know, perm is great for cash flow, money up front. Temp is obviously, you know, a more ongoing, intricate sort of process. But I think it's just given them more options to generate revenue. And the way that the market is now, I think nobody wants to be sort of turning any business away, whether it's something they've done in the past. So having the ability to do that perm placement as a temp agency and have a system that really maximizes the sort of efficiencies for you around that and makes it easy, because what you don't want to do if you're historically a temp agency is get bogged down in struggling and fighting your way through a perm placement. So having a really clear and easy process from a perm side of things, it makes absolute sense and opens up that market massively to you. And I think that's certainly, you know, the feedback is what the Rocket system does. Absolutely.
Yeah, I guess also like just, you know, thinking about that, it's really, if you were managing your perm placements through spreadsheets and things, I understand why you probably wouldn't want to. Absolutely. It's a lot of work for a one hit and kind of done. So yeah, I appreciate that too.
Yeah. And I suppose, you know, we've got this working model. We know where we're at with the current version as we have it. What's sort of next for ATS?
I mean,
I know it's not out yet, Michael.
No,
but what is next once we do get it to market, I suppose, and or we're building it?
Yeah, so I guess short answer is planning never really stops for this kind of thing. Like obviously you're giving a lot of feedback as you're speaking to customers, so that's all, you know, noted down. I think we have about 21 items or something of
I've probably got features. A few more there somewhere, Michael, for you. I'll send those after this.
But a few like big highlight ones are like prospecting CVs. So in this version of ATS, we're going to give you like the full CV, like agency branded, and an anonymized one that you can obviously download and do what you like with. And there's an automation to send it, but really a feature that kind of manages that process. So you can get feedback in Rocket rather than just having to go offline and do that. More of a kind of power search through like the CV content. I guess people are often very used to the whole like Boolean search, which is kind of available, but being able to search across like CVs, profiles, things mentioned in CVs, like from one place would be way more powerful than just the current like candidate search, for example. But now that we have ATS, that's kind of a natural thing for us to probably add in. Reporting, that kind of never stops growing. There's always another report to add.
Absolutely.
Screening questions and how we use AI to sort of remove human bias a little bit in some of that. So
I like that.
So that's kind of come up a couple of times. like arranging interviews. Obviously, you can have a stage called interview, but then there's that element where you have to manage some of that.
Yeah,
it'd be
like
great.
book an interview and things.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Whether we have like an integration or we build something there, I think that's a really good thing for us to, again, plugging these gaps where people have to go off to something else
and do some manual sort of admin around that. Yeah.
And then obviously like AI is in the sort of in from the get-go with ATS, and it's how we learn from how customers use the current integrations and the current automations that we have, and really probably adding more of that AI element in those places. You know, when people are using, obviously we're generating job descriptions and things using AI, but I'm sure there's going to be feedback when it's kind of out there and live.
Always.
Things that we can improve, and you know, there'll be some natural points, I know we talked about before, where it's like where you intelligently use AI and it's not just it's just going to automate everything. It's where it makes the most sense. So that's going to be key for
areas and really target some areas. Yeah, and we know, look, AI's improving. Yeah, it's improved massively even since we started utilizing it ourselves here, hasn't it? So you know, as the years go on, it's only going to improve again as well. AI, isn't it? So there'll be more things that you can do with it as time goes on. Yeah, absolutely. I guess that's kind of come to the end of it really now. Absolutely. Thank you very much, Chris. You're welcome. And thanks, Michael. That's it for this one. I guess join us on the next one for Inside the Product. I've been Michael. This is Chris. I've been Chris. See you next time, guys. Thanks. Thank you.